All right, guys, what's going on? So I just want to give you guys a quick update on how today went and also talk about timing and how important timing is when it comes to trading and the overall stock market, right? So having an idea of what a stock or whatever you're trading is going to do is one thing, but being able to execute and being um, there at the right time is another thing, right? So last couple of days, I had really rough starts to the open. I would have the right idea. For example, yesterday I had the right idea on the Nasdaq, right? So yesterday I came in very bullish on the Nasdaq, and I had this trend line going on the multi-day trend line. And let's zoom out a little bit. So as you can see, this trend line here, and I love trend lines; they work really well on the Nasdaq, on the futures. And as you can see right here was what I was anticipating, right? But yesterday I got a little antsy at the open and I kept chasing into the breakout. And of course, I got, destroyed over here. And I kept stopping out at the lows, getting back in, stopping out. And finally, I was able to get it. And then I made some nice profit here, but the profit, yeah, I turned the day green, but the profit was not enough to recover from these losses. And also, I lost a combine. So I was doing a combine. If you're familiar with the stream, I was doing a combine trying to get funded. And unfortunately, I did hit the max loss in the combine here because I was using way too much size. And I was already kind of down on the combine from the day before because I left an order out overnight on Friday by mistake. So that was kind of annoying. But yeah, I found out a lot more details about the combine. So I'm not sure when I'm going to restart it. But there's a couple things I did not like about it. So we'll see. I'll do a little bit more research on that. But yeah, so again, having the right idea, but not being patient for the right setup, right? So I had the support here. Should have been buying into the support and not chasing. That's the most important thing. And then today was kind of opposite. Similar situation where I had a bias, right? So I had a bias and the bias was wrong. So yesterday my bias was right. Today my bias was wrong. I was very bullish today, right? So I really thought after yesterday's recovery, because as you know, the market has been in the tanks last few days, last week. So I really thought that we're gonna be recovering now, right? So uh one thing that kind of sucked is that I got long a pre-market. I think it was right here. 62 went to, yeah, I was up around 40 points. But what happened was I don't trade on the 5 minutes, so it's hard to see the entry. I trade on the 2 minute chart. Yeah, so right here I was long. Right there on this pullback, and then I got long. Well, unfortunately, I got long on a tiny position, right? So I was up a lot. 40 points on the NASDAQ is a lot, but I was in 1/10 of my regular size. So what happened then is I held it and I never sold it. And at the open, I decided to add into the support here, and the support never held. And since I had a small position, I held it and I kept adding. And I was able to get out some break even here, and I re-added back, and I, of course, got destroyed. And it was a rough morning, right? It was a very rough morning. I kind of kept holding it. It was a small position, but I lost on it way more than I would have on the big position, because on the big position, I would have an automatic stop and I would not be able to hold throughout this drawdown. But then what happened was, again, we draw the trend line and white fight the trend. So I had a bullish bias. I really wanted to go long today. I don't know why, but I did, right? But I was just catching the falling knife instead of just focusing. And I did. Once I walked away, I stopped the stream. I walked away for a little bit. I came back, had a clear mind. I started drawing some trend lines, looking at the support levels. And right here is when I got long, right? So I went long right here. Beautiful setup here. And I started scaling out, right? So I scaled out, rebuy, sell one contract, hold the other one. I think I sold last piece right here into the resistance here, and I could have rebought it, but I didn't want to do it because I was already green on the day. So I went from being down quite a lot on the day, and I ended up being green on the day. So big. I mean, this is a big move here, and I was taking full size versus here I was not taking full size. So that's why I was able to make my money back really fast. But again, should have been waiting for a perfect setup. Here there was no setup at all. Actually, before I got here, I think I took it either here or here. I took it where I Actually, it was green on the day from the loss initially, and I let it come back. And I think it was here. Pretty sure it was here. Pretty sure it was here. I don't have the execution charts, but I'm pretty sure I was up quite nicely here. And I sold one contract, and then I think I was up like $50 on the day from being down like 700. So it was a nice trade, and I never got rid of it. And sadly, it came back, and I stopped out break even on that. So luckily, I did stop out break even because it did go much lower, right? So I wasn't stubborn with it. It sucked. I was like, damn, I had the day saved, and I kind of ruined it. And I even said it in my Discord channel. Pull that up. It's pretty funny how I kind of jinxed myself. So after I stopped the stream, I said, if you want to, I was down on the position in the stream. If you want to check in, you could join on Discord, right? So I said that on the stream. And as you could see, I mentioned I got stopped out. And then about an hour later, half hour later, I was unrealized green, right? That's what I'm talking about here. And unfortunately, it came back. So this was a good trade. I got a little bit greedy on it just because I was down in the day. But at the same time, there was no reason to really sell. This was just a crazy, because this could have reversed, right? This could have reversed because initially my trend line was drawn on this, right? So my trend line was a little bit different first. So if we draw the trend line this way, this trend line broke, right? So there's really no reason for me to sell here. But we did come into a big resistance. So I did keep an eye on it, and I did sell one contract. So I was down, I think, like 900. And after this trade, I was down like 600 or 700, something like that. So I still made a couple $100 on one contract, and I broke even on the other contract. But then this is the big trend line because the market always likes to move in two legs, in my opinion. That's what I've noticed. Right, so the market likes to move in two legs. But I really thought this was the second leg here, and that was the complete leg. But unfortunately, that was not the case, right? So this was the leg, right? So this was one leg, and this was the second leg. It's a little bit of a choppy day as well. It's really not that clean, but it's something that you always have to remember, that when you look at patterns in the stock market or in futures, anything you trade, the patterns are never going to be textbook, right? So you kind of have to take so many different factors into consideration because it's never going to be, black and white type of setup. The biggest thing that we had here was we also were pretty close to the 200 EMA at the time versus here. It was very extended from the 200 EMA. So, SMA. So I like to use the 20 and the 200 SMA on the 2-minute chart. So when they're fully extended from each other, they will usually come back and retest. And this is why I sold here, because we were kind of getting close. I knew we had a little bit more room, and I was trying to target 13,200, but I just couldn't, right? So I just stopped out. I was about to trail it. Usually I trail by the 2-minute candles. I didn't want to do that. That was way too big of a comeback, right? So it would have came back. I would have lost extra $200. But this way I came back and I finished the day at 393. So this was at 1244. I finished at 393. So that was a good day. And again, it just shows you how important timing is and not being stubborn with your losses like I was last couple of days early on, and then having to fight back. This could have been $1,000 day if I just traded the morning properly and stopped out early on. But anyway, guys, I'll be making more of these videos, I think, versus just streaming. I think this is more useful for a lot of people, and it also lets me kind of focus on trading at the open versus going crazy. And I hope you guys are staying safe, as we do have this crazy RKT runner here from 29 to 43. Make sure you don't chase, right? Make sure you don't chase, and stay safe. All right, guys, enjoy the video. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any questions about trading futures. Again, trading futures is probably the best way to get into day trading, especially if you're new. You want to avoid the PDT rules. You want to start with a small account, and all those different things. I think trading futures is better than trading stocks. That's just my opinion. I've been trading stocks for a long time, and I've been trading futures for about a year and a half, but more so full-time trading futures for 6 months now. And I almost don't want to touch stocks anymore, just because futures are amazing, and especially when we have a volatile week like we did last week. I mean, you could turn, you know, $1,000 account into $10,000 if you really know what you're doing. It's really hard, but it's much easier than doing it on stocks, right? On stocks, you need a stock that would move 1,000% to turn 1,000 into 10,000 versus the Nasdaq moves like that all the time. So it's pretty crazy. Just because it's highly leveraged. Obviously, I'm just saying as an example, you wouldn't want to do that. But turning a $1,000 account into 1,500 by end of the week, even end of the day, the same day, it's very possible. So definitely check out a video on my channel as well about futures, and I'll be posting more videos. I mainly trade the Nasdaq, just so you guys know. All right, guys, take care and have a good one.